Wendy and Akim, how you doing today?
I can reach in front and
Wendy,
wave to them during
Wen-
class.
I'm sitting in your seat, Wendy.
Wait, am I the right seat?
What's that?
Wait.
Am I the right seat or am I this one?
This is a free class. This is a very light class. No, you don't need to worry about seats. You can sit anywhere. Just
Probably
kidding.
doesn't really matter, Noah, but let me look. You are,
I can just wave my hand in front of the camera and mess them up while they're trying to take notes.
Spin around. I'm gonna do 360s.
yeah, you're really supposed to be one over, but yes, you're fine.
Just
Okay.
tilt them slightly to the right so they can't see the board anymore.
Am I supposed
You're supposed to be one over too.
to?
Connor's supposed to be one over that way.
Oh, that would help even more. Then I could reach the camera even better.
Yeah. But you guys are good. You're fine. Alright, so today is going to be a lot of review. You didn't bring your calculator today, did you? Is it in there? Did you ever find the cover?
No.
The last time I ever let you use one of my calculators.
You probably lost.
I didn't lose it, son. I'm not the one that has been using it. It's got to be in your room someplace. It's got to
I
be
never
somewhere.
put it in my room.
It's under your
It's-
bed.
And I always kept it.
Where it always is.
That's
Alright,
where
well,
the homeless
anyways.
men live.
We talked about increments yesterday.
Where the homeless men live.
This is a new marker.
Clearly not work.
Brand new marker.
You should take it back to your
You've been
seat.
duped.
Oh, you did.
That one's not gonna work either. Oh, okay.
Alright, we talked about increments yesterday. So we're talking about changing x. Changing x here is going to be what?
It's gonna be -5.
-5. And then again, it's always the second minus the first. And my change in y is going to be 11. 16 minus 5. So -2 minus 3 and 16 minus 5 when we're going to A to B. A to B. Alright? So that's what we talked about a little bit yesterday. This lesson is going to be doing a review of lines basically. Alright? Slope. Alright, how do we find slope?
Over Y. Rise over Y.
X.
Change in y over change in x, correct?
Yes.
Which is
X.
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
Yeah, I meant that.
Yes.
Right? If you notice, that's how we're using our increments to get our slope. It's always going from one to the other. How to find slope. If we have a negative slope, that means our line's going which direction?
Back.
This way. No.
Oh, it's
Describe it.
Negative.
Down.
line is
Negative.
down, lower left, up right. No, up lower right, up left.
That's
like-
positive. Say that again.
No, so it'll be like up to the left and down to the right.
Alright, going down to the right, correct. Yes, going down to the right.
We were close.
Positive slope's going. Positive slope's going.
Up to the left.
No,
Up to the right.
up to the right.
You pointed to your left.
Oh.
Well, you pointed to our left.
You're going like this, and I wanted you to go up to the right. Yes. Positive slope. Alright, so again, rise over run. What do we know about parallel lines? Parallel lines have
Equals
Parallels.
equal slopes. Equal slopes. Different y-intercepts. Perpendicular lines have
Opposite slopes.
a little bit more than that.
Is
Opposite
opposite
reciprocal.
reciprocal.
Opposite reciprocal slopes. So if my slope of my line is 3, then my parallel line will have a slope of
1/3.
parallel line would have a slope of
Oh.
3.
Great.
Alright? Everybody good there? If my slope is 3, then my perpendicular line would have a slope of
1 over
Negative
3.
1/3.
negative
Negative 1.
1/3. Connor is batting 0 today. Alright, negative 1/3. Okay, good? So parallel and perpendicular lines.
Looks like the Red Sox are still there.
What's that?
Looks like the Red Sox
Oh yeah,
right now.
they they still in the bottom of the pile.
The Yankees just swept it.
Did they?
Yeah.
Figures. Alright, so now, talking about equations of lines, there's 5 different types of equations of lines. Again, just review. Point slope. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Point slope. Slope intercept. Y equals mx plus b. Standard. Ax plus by equals c. General. Ax plus by plus c equals 0. And then double intercept. No, I got that wrong. Sorry. X over a plus y over b equals 1. Now again, this book said my general equation is what we have as standard, but most books say the general equation is equal to 0, so that's what we're going to go with. Alright, so let's find the equation of a line that goes through the points 2, 4, and negative 3, 5. Let's find the point slope first. What's my slope?
It is negative, oh no, it would be y. So 1 over, yeah, negative 5. So negative 1/5.
Everybody agree? So 5 minus 4 is 1, negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5, and 1/5. So my point slope, I'm going to use one of the points. Okay? So y minus, which point you want to use?
The first one.
Y minus 4
Yeah.
equals negative 1/5 times x minus 2. So there's my point slope. Slope intercept, I'm going to solve for y. So I'm going to multiply by negative 1/5. Y equals negative 1/5 x plus 22/5. And again, if we use the second one for our point slope, I would get the same y-intercept, or the slope intercept. Standard, I'm going to get rid of my fractions. Y. Bring my x to the other side. Do you remember that my standard in general form, there's no fractions, and x is positive. X is positive. General, make it equal to 0. And then my double intercept, I'm going to go back to my standard form and make the number on the other side of the equal sign equal to 1, so I'm going to divide everything by 22. And I don't want the 5 with the y, so I'm going to divide both the top and bottom by 5. If I do it right, my y-intercept here equals my y-intercept here. This is my x-intercept, 22. So there's my 5 forms: slope-intercept, standard form, point-slope, slope-intercept, standard form, general form, and double-intercept form. Should remember that from last year, hopefully. We did that a lot last year, dealing with those. Any questions here so far? Grace, you good? Noah, you good? Caleb? Connor? Hi. Alright. For the line 3x plus 2y equals 3. Got the point 1, negative 2. I want to find the parallel line that goes through that point to that line. And I want to find the perpendicular line through that point to that line. Okay? So the first thing I do, I got to find out what the slope of this line is. Anybody tell me what the slope of that line is? Negative 3 halves. So basically we can change this to slope-intercept form in our head. We're going to take the 3x over the other side, negative divided by 2, negative 3 halves. So if I want the parallel line, the slope will be, use my point slope. And then solve. Everybody agree? If my slope is negative 3 halves of that line, perpendicular line, we use what slope?
2/3.
Does everybody agree? Do you remember if they use function notation? F of 3 equals 15, F of 2 equals 6. My x coordinate is
Is
3, and my y coordinate is
3,
15, my x coordinate is
2.
2, and my y coordinate is
6.
6. And I find my equation line through that as well. Okay? All right. Calculator.
It's dead.
It's dead.
Yeah, I forgot to plug it in last time.
Okay. It's around here. Do you remember when we're doing regressions? Go to the stat button, edit, to get to your table. Go to the stat button, edit to get to your table. To clear your tables, oops. Go to your L1 and L1 clear. Come down. Make sure you don't press delete because that will delete your column. Just press clear and down. It will clear your columns. Alright, so if I go two, 3, 6, over here, 9, 5, and 2. Alright, I have these points and I want to find a linear regression. I will go back to my stat button, calc, and go to my linear regression ax plus b. That'll be your mx plus b. Oops. Make sure your x column is L1, your y column is L2, and then you want to store it in your equation. So you go to variance, y variance, function, y1, calculate. So this gives me a slope of negative 1.576 and a y-intercept of 11.11. And then I can go to my graph, and it should graph the line for me. I think I still have. Here. If you need to make your window bigger, go to Window, and then you can change your window. And make sure you use the negative button, not the minus button for your negatives, or it will come up with an error. Yes, ma'am?
Could you repeat the last step you did before you got the equation?
Before I got to the equation?
Yeah.
Alright, so I went to Stat, Calc, Linear Regression. I'm just gonna, it should come up at L1 already, enter. L2 already, enter. And then I'm gonna go to Variance, V-A-R-S. I'm gonna go over to Y variance, enter. And I'm gonna choose Y1 to put it in the Y1 function. And then calculate. And so when you go to Y equals, you should see that equation in that Y1 slot. Alright, you can assign it to whichever one you want there, it doesn't really matter. We'll assign it to either one. And then when you graph, it should draw the graph between the lines. And we'll give you the best fit. Do remember, if you are dealing with years, you never want to use the year. You always want to use the number of years from a particular year. They will either tell you the years from 1900 or you just pick. And usually you want to round off to a nice even number, so 1900, 2000, or 1990, or whatever. But usually they will tell you that way everybody will be the same. Because they don't tell you, and they're using years, Allie may start from a different year than Caleb does, and different when Connor does. So your lines will be correct, but your equations will be different. If that makes sense. So, anyways, that's what you need to do there.
How do you turn points on?
Points on, you go to stat plot.
It's second, and then the Y.
Should be up in the upper left-hand corner.
Yeah.
And then you should see plot 1 on, plot 2 off, and so on. Alright, and you can change the square, you can change it to dots or squares, whatever you want to do. There. Okay. Alright, any questions on that? Hopefully that is all review. Okay? Now, back when we're going back to lines, if we have a vertical line, what does the vertical line equation look like? The equation of a vertical line, what does it look like?
It's
It's
0, 1.
What's the equation of a vertical line look like?
X equals.
X equals.
Uh,
An equation of a equation of a horizontal line looks like
Y equals.
y equals. So if I have this point here, what's the vertical line that goes through this point?
X equals 1.
X equals 1. What's the horizontal line that goes through this point?
Y equals negative.
Y equals -2. Okay. I want to make sure I don't forget that. Alright, they're asking you to find M and B. They're asking you to find what? Slope and y-intercept. So the best thing to do is put it into slope-intercept form, and you can find it very easily. Okay? Any questions? Alright, we are going to stop there.